All right, there is a story blowing up in the crypto world that you just can't ignore. It all comes down to one massive question. Could Pi Network's coin actually hit $100? A new report from oknews.com lays out the whole argument, and today we're going to break it all down. Is this just wild hype, or is there something real happening here?
So where did all this talk even come from? Well, this whole frenzy can pretty much be traced back to a single, simple post. Let's dig into the spark that lit this fire and pushed Pi Network right into the spotlight. And this is it. This is the tweet that poured gasoline on the fire. It came from crypto commentator at Pandy's Place, and with just one simple prediction, it kicked off a huge debate. Suddenly, everyone in the crypto community was talking, arguing, and getting seriously excited, or seriously skeptical. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to look at the numbers. We're talking $100. But according to the source article, the price at the time was, well, it was sitting at around 44 cents. I mean, that is a colossal gap. So the billion-dollar question, or I guess the $100 question, is what could possibly happen to cause a surge like that? Okay, so you're probably wondering, how on earth could anyone justify such a massive leap in value? To understand the $100 theory, we've got to look at the case for optimism. And the News report points to a few key things that are really fueling all this hype. The first big reason for all the optimism is the growth of the ecosystem. This number, over 100, represents the decentralized apps, or dApps, that are already live and running on the network. You can think of them like the apps on your phone, just built on the blockchain. They're creating a real functioning digital economy. And the team behind Pi is not just sitting around. The article makes it clear they've been busy. These recent upgrades from August 2025 are designed to make everything faster, more secure, and way easier for people to actually use. Now, these aren't just minor tweaks. We're talking about fundamental improvements that are all about building real-world utility and getting ready for a lot more users. This checklist might look a little technical, but the real story here isn't the list itself, it's the scale. We're talking about millions of users, who they call pioneers, who've already gone through all 5 of these steps. They've moved their Pi coins from the testing phase to the live blockchain. That level of community buy-in is huge. It's a massive signal that people are invested in this for the long haul. And if that wasn't enough, there are these rumors swirling around about something called PiPay V2. The report suggests this could be a really slick, powerful payment system built right into the Pi network. If that turns out to be real, it could be the killer app for Pi, making it super easy to buy and sell things, which would obviously drive up the demand for the coin in a big way. So that's the sunny side of the story. But the News report is also really clear that for every reason to be optimistic, there's a serious challenge waiting. So let's pump the brakes a bit and look at the dose of reality standing between Pio and that $100 price tag.
Remember that big migration to the mainnet we just talked about? Well, it kind of comes with a catch. This number right here, 268 million. That's how many Pi tokens got unlocked in July of 2025 alone. And that is a lot of new supply about to hit the market.
So what happens when a flood of new tokens becomes available? Well, you get this huge risk, a potential wave of selling pressure. Think about it. When millions of those coins unlock, a lot of the early folks might decide it's time to cash in their chips. That could easily push the price down, not up.
And this might be the single biggest roadblock of them all. Right now, you can't go and buy Pi coin on the big crypto exchanges like Binance or Bybit. Without those major listings, it's just really hard to buy or sell, and it's tough for the wider market to even get access to it. Until that changes, reaching even $10, let alone $100, is a monumental challenge.
All right, so given all of that, what actually needs to happen? What's the path forward? Well, the article lays out a pretty clear roadmap. For PiCoin to have any shot at hitting that ambitious target, a few very specific things have to fall into place.
This table does a great job of showing us where things stand right now. It's kind of like a project dashboard. You've got some clear green lights, right? Developer engagement is strong with over 100 dApps, and adoption is growing. But the really critical stuff, like getting listed on major exchanges and having true widespread utility, those are still yellow lights. They're stuck in rumored or still early territory.
The entire future of this project really depends on turning those yellow lights green. So where does all this leave us? The whole story really boils down to two completely different narratives. On one hand, you have a project with incredible community strength. And on the other, you have a speculative asset facing some huge market challenges. Let's weigh the future.
And the predictions could not be further apart. It's actually kind of wild. The source mentions that on one side, you have conservative analysts who think, hey, maybe it'll hit $1.25 by the end of 2025. But on the other side, you have the hyper bulls who believe that if every single thing goes right, $100, maybe even $200 is possible. The range of what could happen here is just massive.
But with all the charts and forecasts, this number right here might just be Pi Network's greatest asset, its secret weapon. Over 19 million verified users. That's not just a number on a page, that is a huge, passionate, and engaged community. And in the crypto world, that kind of belief can be a ridiculously powerful force.
And that brings us to the final thought. The whole story of Pi Network, with all its hopes and hurdles, really comes down to this one question. In the wild world of crypto, what's more powerful in the end? The hard numbers and market fundamentals, or the sheer, unstoppable belief of a massive community? The answer to that is going to decide whether Pi becomes a small footnote in crypto history or one of its biggest stories ever.